I always say I'm an accidental shepherd. I'm a vegetable grower that loves animals, you know? But I just fell in love with these sheep, like, immediately. I started working at the New York City green markets with a friend of mine selling flowers in Brooklyn. And November of 2000, Eugene Wyatt turned up at the market with some wool and wool hats and a little bit of lamb for sale. And I was kind of fascinated by this man who must take care of sheep somewhere in the world. I went over to his farm and instantly fell in love with his sheep, but never really intended to leave my vegetable business. Yet he had me come help him with a couple of jobs, and I never left.
When he hired Dominique, he needed another set of hands, and what he got with her was a very caring person who was very attentive to his livestock than anybody he had seen.
He was my mentor. I mean, that's who I learned everything from.
And it was nice that he could impart his knowledge onto Dominique, and which I believe why Dominique owes so much to him.
And Eugene really worked hard on producing superfine merino wool. He flew to Australia, imported rams, has, as he said, the finest wool. You know, he was always the finest in America. But it was unusual to have wool like this in America.
He would point out a lot of things to her about the breed, what to look for in the sheep, if something seemed off, whatever, and she was a very quick learner.
So Eugene and I worked together for about 13 years, and the sheep gradually started pushing my vegetable business to less and less months out of the year, but I still kept both because I'm a vegetarian, and having a business that involves killing animals was really hard for me. So I did my best to make their life great while they were with us.
Hello, my babies.
In 2018, Eugene was diagnosed with a form of dementia, and the farm was having some financial difficulty, and he ended up taking his life.
With Eugene's sudden death, it was a shock to all of us, but we came to understand, there were some health issues that seriously were impacting his future, that probably, impacted his decision, or, his suicide.
And overnight, I inherited the flock. I ended up moving the sheep here in 2020 in the middle of the pandemic because a local farmer who preserves farms around here gave me an opportunity to move to this preserved farm with an option to buy it. Ultimately, that's the plan.
She's working with the FSA farm loan side. They, of course, have loan programs that'll benefit her, and they're tailored towards beginning farmers. As a woman, she can get a very advantageous opportunity to get a mortgage to buy this farm.
My goal is to continue on with his tradition of growing this fine Saxon Merino wool. We grow wool, merino wool, that's the thing I like to focus on, but the selling of the lamb at green markets is really what keeps the farm going right now.
So all those years, Eugene was very instrumental in those markets. So he was well known and had a very strong following. All those people and colleagues were there for Dominique. I think, she has done well with all that support, and I think that reassured her a lot to make this move, and, we're all there for it.
I was like thrown into the frying pan, so I had to learn quickly with him, and he didn't like a million questions, so I had to do some of my own research, but I'm glad I had the opportunity to learn with him. I still have a lot of questions for him, though. There were sheep around he never would have kept because I was attached to them. It was a way I sort of taught him that having a group of friendly sheep makes it a lot easier to manage a large flock of sheep, because that little group follows me, then the rest of them will follow along. So he appreciated my friends. I coddled them a little bit more than he would. But he liked that I did it. As long as I was doing it, he liked that I did it. I keep old ladies like him that. I have some sheep that he never would have kept, but I just am attached to them. And that's one of the things I'd be like, when I'm annoyed with him for leaving. I just say, well, I get to choose now.